stay fly.
Yo, what's good? It is your boy Adrian Nyce. You ain't fucking with the rest, you fucking with the best. We are here right now with
Pluggworld.
Pluggworld. Okay, and then your individual names. What are your
I go by Cam.
Go by Jimmy David.
Jimmy, David, and Cam?
Cam. Yeah.
Cam.
Short for Cameron.
Cameron, okay. Thank y'all for coming today. For real, thank y'all
Pleasure.
for coming today. Like we was talking about earlier, we got tapped in through Kalisha, right? Yeah. You know, PR host extraordinaire. She does her thing out here in LA. Big shit. You know, but yeah, now we're here. We're here today, making it happen. We had a little rough start, but you know, God will bless us. God will give us a way, find a way. You know.
It's all smooth on this side, man. It's all smooth.
Yes, sir. Okay, so let's start with Pluggworld. Where did this name come from?
I'm gonna let you answer this one.
We were initially called The Plug.
The Plug.
Yeah, but it's just a lot of shit called that.
Mm-hmm.
It's just Plug Podcast, The Plug, you know.
Plug Walk.
Plug the day party, open mic, you know. And yeah, so kind of like people would come to the studio, and I play instruments, he play instruments, and we just didn't really have our cable management going at the moment. It would just be plugs everywhere.
Wow.
And
Kind of like me.
Oh yeah, it was our Instagram name. It was always our Instagram name, and
So y'all was just like, damn, let's run with this. Let's just run with it.
Nothing else was called Pluggworld either.
Facts. So y'all did a little search, did a little trademark thing. Okay, that's what's up. And so you guys are music artists, or what are you? Do you paint? What all do you do?
Yeah, we're musicians. Like you said, he plays guitar, bass, and keys. I produce. We both rap and sing.
Wow.
So we write, record, engineer, produce our own music. We started working with another producer recently this year, a dude from New York named Vin D'Amato, who's a talented
In the building.
dude. Yeah, shout out to him. But for the most part, yeah, we produce our own shit, and yeah.
What made you guys start open up and kind of start working with a new producer?
It was just our last album was like 3 years ago. So for this one, we were just trying to tap into some new sounds and just see what it would sound like to just incorporate another sonic perspective, because we come up together since we was teenagers, so we kind of all have the same taste. So just
Facts.
introduce a different perspective.
And do you mix and master your own stuff too?
No.
No?
Hell
So you
no.
send it off. He said,
Hell no.
We got to
That's
get
where we
the
draw
pros
the
in there
line.
for
That's
that.
where we draw the line.
No, that's tight. And so you said you do instruments and all that too, right? What type of instruments again do you?
Guitar, bass, and a little bit of keys.
And so do you incorporate that within your production as far as like beats, instrumentals, and all that type of stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of times it's the foundation. We try to incorporate that first and typically build around it.
Nice. What? Damn. What? I'll cut this out. Damn. What was I about to say? This shit got me all fucked up. Okay, so well, where are you guys from?
From L.A., born and raised.
Born, both of you guys?
Yeah.
What part?
Carson, by way of South Central, for me.
Yeah, I lived a few places around LA. I lived in Gardena for a lot of my upbringing. Then I moved to an area called Rancho Palos Verdes for high school, which was like a whole different experience and environment. And then went to college in South Central. So that was a different experience. And I lived in Inglewood for a lot of years. Now I live back near USC again. So it's I've been all over the city.
So what was life like growing up for you guys?
I think I had a I don't know. I think I had a very, I don't want to say unique, but kind of like a very individual kind of upbringing because I kind of had both experiences. I kind of told you, like, I lived in, I lived in the middle of the shotguns in Gardena. I grew up until I was 13. And then all of a sudden I moved into this affluent neighborhood where these kids is driving, like, Hummers and shit to school, like, shitting on the teachers, basically, and just coming from, like, all this privilege and just they're in their own bubble and they're not really knowing much of, like, outside of that and just how to, like, live and thrive in both worlds. So, I mean, it was kind of an interesting upbringing, but I learned young how to be able to adapt to, like, any room I'm in. So I think that was cool. And I think we also incorporate that in our music because we incorporate so many different genres and styles and backgrounds that it kind of seeps its way through the music as well, like our life experience.
And then what about you? What was life like growing up for you?
I actually had something very similar. So I did grow up in South Central where, like, you know, you didn't even really want to, like, go down the street to play basketball.
Goddamn.
Type situation.
Why? Because of, like, just gang banging or, like, what?
Probably. Yeah.
Just elaborate. I mean, I'm just
part,
keeping a buck. Is that why, or just
it's part? Yeah.
your mom wouldn't let you out the house? Or that? Like,
well, yeah. I mean, that was probably why I'm a preacher's kid. So
facts.
So they double down on, no.
And do either of you have siblings?
Yeah.
What you got?
I have a younger brother, younger sister.
And then
A sister that's 13 months older. So
13. Okay, so y'all kind of like, got you. So as far as like gang banging goes, when did you guys realize that this was like, that gang banging was gang banging? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I think my earliest experience was being at, like, Rogers Park in Inglewood. My sister used to sing in a group. They would rehearse there at Rogers Park, and that's, like, basically a gang kind of run park. And it was a blood.
So like, what, they just chill there, or that's like?
It's kind of like almost like a home base type of thing.
Gotcha,
But yeah,
gotcha.
kind of run the park in HP. So Inglewood is basically all Bloods for the most part. And I was from Gardena, like I told you, and that's basically the opposite. I was like 8 years old, just in there playing basketball, right? And the dude was like, "Where you from?" He was like, I said, "Gardena." And it was an issue, right? I'm 8 years old. This dude's probably 23, 24.
Dang.
And that's when I was first like, okay, it matters where I live matters.
When he asked you, you didn't think nothing of it. You was just like, hey.
No, not at first. But him, he's like, okay. And then he turned up, and it was like, different situation. So
He tried to press you? Or just like,
I mean, I'm still 8 years old.
Yeah, I know, but
enough to leave an impression to where I realize, okay, I need to be aware of where I am and where I live matters.
hell yeah. So I mean, how did that end? Like, what?
He didn't beat me up, nothing like that. Like,
I figured, but he could have been like, get off my court and go home type
just
shit.
like, they say who they are, they say what their name is and where they from, what they're called.
Yeah.
This is what this is. You know what I'm saying? And in an aggressive way, enough to in an intimidating way. Like, yeah, it's like intimidation. It's like, but it's. I'm not saying he wasn't about whatever he was on.
Yeah, facts. But the age difference definitely. Yeah,
sure.
yeah. And then what about you? When did you finally realize, like, okay, this is gang banging, or like, it's not just kids fighting or whatever the case may be. It's just like, this is actually, whatever it is.
Really, the colors for me. As you can see, I like red.
Hey, I like red too.
Just back in the day, it was cool to be matchy. So I used to try to do the red.
So we all red
with the red laces and stuff, and I just got checked on it a couple times because they would be like, "Where you from?" And I'm like, "Oh," I kind of knew what to say in that situation.
Yeah,
I was like, "Oh, I'm not from nowhere, or I'm a civilian," and they would just be like, "Well, why you got all that red on?" And I'll just be stuck. I'll be like, "Oh."
This is my favorite color.
You
can't say that, or what they gonna?
And then they would be like, okay, well, this is blah blah blah, and sometimes it would end well, where that is let me go, and unfortunately, some other times I may have lost a few items. And
Dang, boy, I just take off running or some shit. I don't know. They might shoot my ass. Something. I don't know. So you said you did have siblings?
Yes.
How many siblings?
2.
Are they older or younger?
Younger, both younger.
Younger. So how do you kind of break it down to them so they're kind of prepared for whatever? Or have they ever come to you about any of stuff like that?
They haven't.
Hmm.
They haven't. I think by the time they were old enough to just kind of be outside doing their own thing, that's when my environment switched from South Central to a gated community in Carson.
Mm.
So I'm not sure if they were as exposed as I was.
Got you. And then what about you? Like, say your sister. I'm sure this might have happened before. She just comes up to you. Problems that she might have had at school or something like that. How do you handle that situation? Or, because she is.
I'm little bro.
Yeah.
Bro. So I mean,
But still,
that dynamic's not really there. But in terms of what, like in terms of
I don't know. Just like
gangs and stuff.
yeah, or just problem. I don't know if she ever had problems. Has she ever had problems or anything where she's come to you, needs your help or anything like that?
I mean, her first boyfriend was a gang member. You know what I'm saying? So that you gotta realize, like, it was very pervasive in the culture when we were coming up. It was like almost everybody was damn near doing it. You know what I'm saying? So you're gonna people that you date, you go to the mall, you meet some dude, he's probably gonna be from somewhere. Like,
What about you guys? Have you guys got pulled into?
We don't bang.
How did y'all avoid that?
I don't know. I would credit. Honestly, I think we both moved at the right time. I would credit that because you gotta look when people join. It's usually like around right when they get into high school. And I think that's a testament to our parents just knowing. Knowing that and getting us out in time.
And so, in your households, were your parents playing music at all or anything like that? And what type of music were they playing? That's a question to both of you.
Not a ton in my house. We didn't have like some record player or something that you use like everybody. I had an iPod, so I kind of listened.
Okay.
My parents played zero music.
Damn.
Zero. I can't remember just hearing like some Luther Vandross randomly on a spring cleaning Saturday. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. I mean,
so how did you guys get exposed to music? Like, what was y'all's first? How'd you get exposed to music? Was it through your friends, or did you guys just stumble upon it, or was it your siblings, or what? What?
Initially, church.
Church.
Yeah, being musically involved in church, and then at school. As far as like music outside of like gospel music, you hear it from your friends, and then once you get your hands on a computer and some LimeWire, then start to get
LimeWire, boy. Same. Were you playing? Did they have you playing instruments in church, or were you on the choir? Singing, Dad, you singing, boy. A lot of artists have grown up in church. I grew up in church. That's super prevalent in the South. Boy, is church a big thing out here on the West Coast or no?
I think it is. I think it's part of the culture in the same way that gangbanging is a part of the culture. The same way that Mexican culture is part of the culture. Like LA culture is. I think it's a combination of all those. Mostly gangbangers grew up in church too.
Yeah, grandma.
A lot of them went to my church. You know what I'm saying? And it's people it's pictures like with the class or the middle school class pictures. And then like 4 years after that picture was taken, some of those people couldn't even be in the same room anymore because one's from Hoovers, one from Lakewood, one from, right. So now a lot of them start there because you got to think everybody has a grandma. It's a lot of people raised by grandma. Everybody's grandma's in the church or your parents, and so you get to a certain age, and then people start to make their own way. But I think always in every city, wherever there's a black culture, I think the church is always going to be super ingrained into black culture in every city.
For sure. I agree. So now, as far as y'all's music go, do you guys rap, sing? Is it melodic? How would you describe your music? Or your sound?
All the above. Honestly. I don't know if you play it outside, play it out.
Just for the audience that haven't heard.
No doubt. It's kind of a combination of kind of lush chords when we talk about like guitar and keys, and then we have like a heavy low end in terms of like the percussions, right? So like very like modern hip hop, 808, heavy low end with lush chords on top, and then we layer it with vocals, and then keep the verses open and put some bars in.
Do you guys ever get compared to a certain person?
I've heard little things here and there, but you know, I don't. I'm not too big on comparisons.
Well, can
Honestly,
we get a
I know,
name?
I know.
Who?
So, what's that? I don't want to sound like I'm shading. No, I mean, what's the last interviewer said? She said a mix between Wale and Division. I don't know how I felt about that, but because I mean, Wale is a wordsmith and everything, but that's not really our style.
Yeah.
I respect him. I respect him as a lyricist, but that's just not that's not the style that we do music in. But I think she just meant because like we do have wordplay. You know what I'm saying? And Wale is known for wordplay, so I think that's why she said that.
And so, who are some of y'all's musical inspirations? And we'll start with you, and then we'll come back to you. Growing up, musical inspirations.
Growing up.
Yep.
I would say growing up, what got me into rapping was Lil Wayne,
Of course.
and The Game, and yeah, mainly those two. That's what got me into rapping and wanted to. It was that 100 bars and running,
Mm-hmm.
and kind of made me want to do the same, like just do a beat and just do bars the entire time. And so that's what got me into rapping. And then as far as like singing, you know, like that was just like for the chicks. It's just like, you know, once you figure out like you can kind of leverage that.
Hell yeah. And then what about you? Musical inspirations.
Musical inspirations. I got on the rap side because on the rap side is definitely I would say Nipsey was like my biggest artist I listened to on the rap side, probably from like 2010 and on. So like most like my adulthood, or like probably 2008 or 9 actually. And then on the singing side, I like this dude Iman Omari, Ty Dolla $ign, and I like Lauryn Hill just for the tone.
Hell yeah. So this was a question we was kind of arguing about. Has Drake had the longest running career at the top?
That's a fact.
Y'all would say that? Y'all would give him that? Yeah? Dang. So now who would give him, if we had to just choose somebody in the rap industry who would say could come close to like giving him a run for his money? Who?
Kanye's right there because Kanye's had a run. I mean, because 05 was when College Dropout came out.
Mm-hmm.
It's just that after My Dark Twisted Fantasy, or no, actually, Life of Pablo was cool too, but there was some misses. You know what I'm saying?
Got you. So Drake is definitely.
In my opinion.
Yeah. Dang, that's
It's
crazy.
not the only opinion, but in my opinion,
No. They were saying the same thing. I was just wanting to,
Who you
yeah.
Who you think?
Who?
Yeah.
I was gonna say after Drake it'll probably be Lil Wayne. That's just me though.
Carter 3, you know, it was kind of a gap. Like, but he was in some bullshit with his, you know, his label and stuff. There was a reason, but it was like a big gap. Carter 4 was what, 10 years later or something.
So you ain't get. Well, he's like fuck.
There's a gap, that type of a gap, and it's not his fault. Obviously, talent-wise.
Give me y'all's top 3.
Rappers?
Yep.
Of all time?
Yeah, of all time.
Or who I like to listen to?
It's your opinion.
Okay.
Top 3. If we had to create a Mount Rushmore,
Okay.
Each of y'all's Mount Rushmore.
If you got to put a Mount Rushmore style, okay.
and this is your opinion, it's not like to the masses. It's just your,
Oh, you ain't say KRS-One? You ain't say
it's your opinion.
Poochie raps? For me, personally,
For you.
who I like to listen to, Drake, Nipsey, Rick Ross.
And one more, Mount Rushmore. One more. 4 heads.
The fourth.
You
Ooh,
said Drake, Nipsey,
Rick Ross.
Ross.
It's going to be a big drop-off.
Interesting.
Those are my
Okay.
top 3, then it's a big
Okay,
drop-off.
that's 3, and then
Yeah, it's gonna
give me one of
Lil
mine.
Wayne. I'll say
Lil Wayne. Okay. And then for you, Mount Rushmore. Here, take the mic. So if we had to create a Mount Rushmore of just your top rappers, who are your favorite? Who would we choose?
That's tough. I might have to solidify his Mount Rushmore. I'm trying to think if there's somebody that I would throw in there. I was a big Cassidy fan for a minute.
He's like, now that you done said it.
Cassidy fan for a minute.
So you agree with everything he said? He said Drake, he said Nipsey, he said Rick Ross, and then you said Lil Wayne.
Does it have to be somebody that people know?
No, well, no, not really, but just, you know.
don't know if you ever heard of DZK,
I haven't.
but he's big influence on me as well.
Where's he from?
He's an underground rapper. Did like a lot of like a lot of the early online battles and stuff like
Nice.
that.
Okay. All right. So what we're gonna tap into is our first little segment called "What the is going on." Okay. What the is going on, guys? What is going on in this world? A lot of stuff is going on. How do y'all feel about the Young Dolph situation? How do y'all feel about my man? He got ran down on. Who y'all think did it? All of that. Like, how do y'all feel about that? And let's talk to the mic.
I feel extremely sad about the situation. I look at it as a family first, like a family unit that's now lost the patriarch, the breadwinner. 2 kids lost their father. A woman lost, her soulmate. So that's my immediate reaction to it is just sadness. You know what I'm saying? The other side is just like, it's crazy because I just feel like the people that's killing each other are the people that have the most in common. Right? It's like in another world they would probably be homies.
So now,
but it's like because of the way it's set up and the way that they're basically we're fighting over limited resources, it creates turmoil and it creates size and then get back and all this type of shit.
So do you think it was gang related, or do you think it was somebody in their camp, his camp, that might have been jealous of him, might have been, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
So what are your theories?
Yeah, just theories. Just
yeah,
off the top, like
what you think?
I literally have zero clue. But if I'm just gonna throw some out there, I mean, it could have been anything. It could have been anything. Like
Yeah.
it could have been somebody in a circle. It could have been somebody that he had an issue with in the streets. It could be somebody that he had history with from way back. They just happened to see him.
That's a fact.
It's just life.
Anybody.
He was moving around.
Memphis is
in a
ruthless
place where
too.
he thought he was
Just
where
so
he
y'all
felt
know.
comfortable. Yeah, it's home, so you feel comfortable, and I understand that. But it's like once you reach a certain level, the place you feel the most comfortable can be the place where you're actually the biggest target. You know what I'm saying?
How you feel about it? What do you think? What's your conspiracy theory?
Yeah, it's sad. It just makes me wonder, like, when we're gonna kind of elevate from this sort of thing.
It's crazy,
You know what
man.
I'm
We
saying?
got Young Dolph gone.
As far as who's to blame, it's really just the devil entering the hearts of men.
But we see this consistently. We got Nipsey died, in his neighborhood, like town, whatever. And then we got Young Dolph. It keeps happening. Do you think rappers can be at that superstar level and still live like where they grew up at? Or do you think you
not
have
safely,
to
not safely?
not safe?
I mean, honestly, I thought one of the realest things I ever saw was like a Dirk interview when he was talking about how Meek Mill asked him, "Hey, take me to O Block. I want to see what it's like." And Dirk was like, "At your own risk." And then he was like, "I can't tell you that you're good there because I'm not even good there, right?"
Damn.
And I thought that was the realest thing in the world, like not acting like, "Oh, this is my city," and like no, realizing it's your city where you not even good because anybody has a problem with your side, you the biggest trophy.
Yeah.
You the biggest trophy. So somebody's trying to get a name.
All right, so now what the fuck is going on with this Astro World situation? Astro World, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like it's some demonic satanic ritual or do you feel like it's just accidents that happen?
Yeah, I don't know. I seen all the conspiracies and the picture comparisons.
Oh yeah, you saw that? That's just crazy.
Yeah, I mean, when you have a lot of people in one place and drugs, the probability of somebody getting hurt, kind of goes up. And I don't really know if it's important to place blame in the situation. There was loss of life, and that's unfortunate.
So
I don't know.
So let me tap into y'all survival mindsets. Okay.
Yeah.
So as y'all know, there was basically like a stampede. They bum rushed the gates and they tipped it over, and some people got trampled over and died.
Yeah.
So now, what are y'all gonna do? So okay, y'all are one of the first couple ones that make it past that gate, but y'all trip and fall, and y'all see all these motherfuckers coming at you. What is y'all's first thought, and then what are y'all like? What would y'all do in that situation?
I feel like if you can get to your feet, you have a chance.
Okay,
So as soon as I hit the ground, the first thing I'm trying to do is
get right back.
where can I get some type of leverage to get to my feet? Just like a DP. Just don't fall. Just don't hit the
Don't
ground.
fall fast.
You got a chance. That's all I can think
And
of.
what about you? You on the ground? You already on the ground? You done
Yeah.
tripped, fell over. What you doing next? What you
Yeah,
thinking? What you doing?
I'm try to get up, make a noise, and not really gonna do anything.
Hell
So,
no.
I'll try to get up.
Keep going.
Yeah, just get out of there, find an exit.
I think I would try to roll. Like roll, yeah. Like cause I feel like if I try to stand up, there's just more people coming. So my first thing would just be to try to roll, like roll out the way, out the. I don't know. That's crazy.
I'll try to get up and then just protect yourself. Yeah. To a foot.
That's crazy. Yeah, we had, and then they was saying like a nigga was running around poking people with a a fucking needle and shit.
No. I just say yeah.
It definitely makes you think twice about going to these these big ass
Hell
events.
yeah! What?
It would definitely I'm definitely like, man, I don't know. I don't know. And I've been to
Niggas
Coachella a couple
around
times.
poking niggas.
Coachella was fun, but like
Oh wow.
now it's like people adding some other elements. Sticking people with like that's it's another element.
And then do y'all think who is, I guess, to blame or who's the fault? Are we blaming Travis Scott? Blaming
I would think it got to
his
be the
crew
facility.
members?
It has to be the facility, because there's code, right, and there's a certain number of people that you can have per square foot and all that type of stuff. Like clearly they wasn't adhering to it.
Oh yeah, I think it was like the place was only supposed to hold like I want to say 40 to 50 or something like that. But then like when they bum rushed the gate, it turned out to be like 200K out
So
there.
they didn't have enough security. They bum rushed the gate. Like,
That shit's
it just
crazy.
wasn't. Certain areas you don't want to cut in costs. People might have looked and saw, hey, let's cut on the security costs. Let's just get 500 bodies instead of 1,000. But like whatever,
Yeah.
somewhere on the facility side, I think we placed it. The artists, I don't know how much you can really see from the stage, so it's hard to sell.
So, and then last thing on this. So, I mean, so if we're not blaming the artist, how do you feel about all of these brands and other businesses dropping him? The brand deals that he has with him. I heard his Nike sneakers is getting canceled. He's been getting dropped from all of these other showcases. Fortnite removed them. All that type of stuff.
It's kind of like a reality check. Like people, they're gonna mess with you till it's not cool to mess with you, right? They're gonna mess with you till it's messing with the bottom line. So, like, maybe it's a lesson that he didn't know before. Now I'm sure he probably already knew that lesson, but it's not surprising to me.
That ain't shit he could do though.
Yeah, it's not
shit he could
surprising.
do,
Like,
bruh.
yeah, okay, you got this on your name right now. I don't want that next to our brand that's worth $1 billion to our shareholders.
I'll be like, fuck y'all. Y'all gonna drop me? Can he come back from this?
If Kobe got dropped, I mean, Travis Scott can get dropped. What'd you say?
Can he come back?
For me personally, I don't really have a quarrel with him personally because I don't know enough about the situation. I don't know if he saw. I did see videos of him stopping the concert and saying, check on people, but I don't have all the answers. So from what I saw him try to help people. If people think he could have done more, I definitely, their opinion is valid as well.
All right, let's get into this music. So y'all got a album. Album's out. What's the name of the album? And let's talk about it.
Tug of War is the name of the album.
Tug of War. And it came out when?
On the 16th.
On the 16th. So damn, that's what, like 4 or 5 days ago, something like that. So how many songs are on the album? And let's talk about the concept of the album.
So it's 10 songs on the album. The concept of it is just the same way you would think of a tug of war. Is just we're being pulled multiple different directions in our lives. Number one, there's like we only have so much time, right? Time is such a limited commodity, and it's like there's success, there's money, and there's like all the aspirations on the music side, and then there's relationships, right? And it's like you're being pulled both ways. You can only when you feed one, you're starving the other one in a way. So there's that tug of war, and there's also the tug of war in the aspect of like the music itself, right? Where R&B, hip hop, we're kind of going back and forth, you know what I'm saying, through those fields, and just tug of war, good and evil. It's multi-layers to it.
So it's internal and external.
Most definitely.
Fire. And so we kind of tapped on this a little earlier. What are some of the goals? And this is a question for both of you guys because you might have different goals for the project. What are some of the goals for the project? Is it like to get 1 million streams or, get whatever? What are some of y'all's personal goals that you want to happen for this project?
Extend the reach, get it to more ears, gain some financial freedom from it.
Hell yeah.
And it's art, and when you're an artist, you want to share it, and you want people's feedback, and you want people to feel what you was feeling or feel whatever they felt from it. And so I would say those would be the major goals for me.
Anything to add on to it, or would you
agree? If you want like more like a quantification, I would say we definitely want to. It would be cool to like get onto a chart. You know what I'm saying? Right?
Billboard chart.
Onto a Billboard chart. Like let's get a song or two on the chart. Like to put like a tangible thing to it.
Yeah.
But ever expanding the reach, it'd be cool to like get to other great platforms. No Jumper, that type of thing.
Hell yeah.
So those are all milestones that people like in our position probably look towards.
Y'all doing the right thing, man. Y'all definitely need to keep tapping in with the college radio stations because if y'all didn't know this, college radio stations versus like real radio stations. So real radio stations, where college radio stations can play your music as many times as they want. And if it's a Billboard reporting station or a Grammy reporting station, which is same thing, that stuff gets charted. So, whatever you work out with them, they can keep playing your shit. But as opposed to like a real radio station, they can't necessarily do that. But yeah, okay, so that'll be dope. Did you guys have any singles that you released as singles that were also on the album?
Yeah, we had.
We need to hear you talk too.
We had Chick-fil-A.
Chick-fil-A. What's that about? Going to Chick-fil-A? Eating at Chick-fil-A?
Yeah, it's about going to
What's
Chick-fil-A. Yeah. It wasn't about to happen. To be honest, it was
meeting your shorty outside of Chick-fil-A.
Nah,
no?
it was kind of like on some finessing. It was like another word for finessing. Like
I'm a Chick-fil-A. You like what?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. And then we can go up to Chick-fil-A and be like, we need that bread deal. Yeah. We need that Pluggworld meal.
Hey.
They doing that now. Travis Scott, sweetie meal.
Yep.
That's crazy. Okay, so Chick-fil-A was a single.
Yeah.
And was there another one that was on the that you would consider that y'all released as a single, or was it just that was the main one?
We had Show and Tell as well.
Show and Tell, what's that about?
So Show and Tell is about you talking to your significant other and you telling her, I want you to tell me something good. You know what I'm saying? Make it sound good.
Hell yeah.
And then after that, you're like, better yet, I'd rather you show me than tell me. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that's kind of where that's going. And then on Chick-fil-A, shout out to Sauce Walker. He blessed us with an outro on that one. He reached out on Instagram and it was love. We got with the management. They sent us an outro for that song. So that definitely took it to the next level as well.
Hell yeah.
And expanded the reach on that one.
Are there any other features or any other guests on the project?
Yeah, there's a couple other features. There's one, Shardell Smith. He's like a dope vocal coach from LA. Like he's known just for having vocals, just like a vocal beast.
Mm-hmm.
So he did some backgrounds for us on one song. And then this kid Rocky out of New York. Dope, like just kind of like a Miguel type vibe dude. He collabed with us on a song called "Waiting Game." It's kind of like a slow, sexy kind of little joint for the ladies. Yeah.
How did you guys already know these two guys that were on the, y'all's project, or was it more so y'all stumbled upon them, or
So
word of mouth? Or like
Shardell we knew. Rocky we met through Vinny, the producer.
the producer, yeah.
And then Sauce reached out on the gram.
Damn, that's fire. Hell yeah.
Yeah,
Y'all
man.
independent right now, right?
Indie.
Y'all trying to stay independent? Y'all trying to get signed?
If it makes sense, you know what I'm saying? If it makes sense, like I'm all about there's really not one answer for that question. It really depends where the person is, how risk averse are they, you know.
So right now in y'all's life, we got record label exec walk through that door, put money on the table, the right number is y'all signing.
If it's the right number, I would sign.
Okay, he's like, I don't know. Y'all gonna have to have a little talk.
It depends.
That's a great question. That's a great question.
It also depends on the structure of the deal, like some of the other details, like ownership percentage, that type of thing, masters, those type of things. But I think if you can get into a deal that's short term, I think having that gasoline on your fire can get you to a place where you can renegotiate on your next deal.
Hell yeah.
But if you're not in the game, you're not in the game. Like 100% of nothing is nothing. Right.
How much of your masters would you give up?
I mean, I'm not
right
negotiating on this.
So it's
I'm negotiating contracts on this platform.
No.
But we not. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. But none. Zero.
So they can't. All right, I ain't gonna do it.
I feel you. I mean, there's a number there.
But you are open to giving up a small percentage, very small.
I'm
as long as
open
it makes
to giving
sense.
up percentage because the label does. There is value in the label.
Hell
It's not just the loan. Yeah, there is the loan aspect, and that part of it I'm less on because we have access to some resources where we don't just run to the first check that we get. But a lot of it is the other stuff that, I'm sure you're aware of, the connections, the relationships, distribution. Those are the types of things.
Marketing.
It can be that right gasoline to get you to the ears that you need to be on. 5 years later, if it's a 5-album deal, knock them out, and then now you're in a position where you can negotiate.
So say a record label exec or a label wants to reach out to you. How can they get in touch with you guys? What's your social media? What is your individual social medias and all that?
No doubt. At Pluggworld, at PLUGGWORLD. Instagram. That's the best way.
All right.
Emails in the bio.
And so before we slide out, I have this last segment called One Piece of Advice. Okay? So basically, I'm going to ask you guys to give one piece of advice that could be to the whole world. It could be to a race of people. It could be to an inanimate object. It could be to anything that I choose, and you'll just give one piece of advice to that thing. Okay? All right. So we're going to start off with you. All right. So first, give one piece of advice to the people of L.A.
One piece of advice for the people of L.A.
Yes.
My biggest thing, I always say it's never too late to go after something that you really want, but you do have to be hungry enough to go get it and be consistent with it. The reason why I share that typically is I started playing guitar really late, and I wanted to play guitar when I was like 10 or something. Somebody told me it would be too hard, and I believed them.
Dang.
And I didn't pick it up till much later. But now I'm one of the hardest niggas on guitar. So
Hey, you better recognize.
like, I could have been better,
Yeah.
if I started earlier. But I get a lot of questions and people say, oh, like I kind of want to learn to do this or to do that. And so whatever you passionate about, whatever endeavors you trying to pursue, it's not too late to start and put y'all into it, figure out a plan, go hard, do it efficient.
All right. Same question to you. Give one piece of advice to the people of L.A.
People of LA, one piece of advice: avoid the 405.
Avoid the
Avoid that
405.
thing, man. If it's another way, if it's another route, hit ways. Like, hey, because I'm on that thing, not playing. One piece of advice, people of LA: stay true to our identity, right? Because it's a lot of people come into the city and we love it. It's a melting pot, But I always love it when there's a place you can go to and it still feels LA. And people from LA know what that means, but it's just stay true. You know what I'm saying? Hold it down.
All right. Give one piece of advice to the people who are just now discovering your music.
Take your time with it. You know what I'm saying? Play it through. You're gonna catch some different stuff each time. The bars is there's levels to the bars for sure, but also the melodies. I think you'll enjoy those as well. But take your time with it. Start. And I wouldn't start from the back and start to the front. I would start with our current stuff, and then work your way back if you want to hear other stuff. But yeah, I think you'll definitely enjoy something on this album. It's something for everybody, 100%. I know people say that, but when you play, you'll hear like we hitting different genres, and it's like not just on some popcorn. Like no, we're really doing them. You know, in an authentic way.
Same question.
I would say playlist that. You know what I'm saying? Just
Hell yeah.
find play it again, and then just take your tracks, put it in this playlist, put it in this playlist, like make it so it like there's a lot of vibes on there, so it's guaranteed to kind of like fit certain situations. So whenever you're trying to set whatever vibe, you know you got something on there that you really rock with.
All right, and last question. Give one piece of advice to 21-year-old yourselves. So you at 21, give one piece of advice to that guy. Where were you? What was you doing? Give one piece of advice to that guy.
What was I doing at 21? I would say stay in school, nigga.
Stay in school, nigga.
Stay in school. Just
Okay.
Just you know, just finish.
Facts.
Finish. You know,
Facts.
you know, something unfortunate is really bad is gonna happen to you, and that's gonna affect you trying to stick to it. But just know that he will want you to finish, and it'll benefit you later in life.
All right, and then 21-year-old you, give one piece of advice to that guy.
Damn, I was wilding when I was 21. I was in college, senior year, and I now have an ID because I'm 21. So
Yeah.
you know what type of time we was probably on. So, but I would have told myself to take a little bit of a break from the party and start investing in your artistry while you have so much freedom and while you're around so many other people that are in your same industry that can help you, that can grow at the same pace as you. Because 5 years later, the price going to be different on your people that's just your homie in class.
Hell yeah.
5 years later, now it's up. You know what I'm saying? So tap in with them while you guys are all growing. Grow together with people. Stop trying to find somebody that's already there because they're going to tax you. But somebody that's willing to grow with you, y'all could build something together, and now you have equity.
I like that. Goddamn.
And the other thing would be just one for local. You don't need two.
One for look. Hey, I was definitely on them for locals back in the
don't need
day. Had to learn the hard way. Okay. Any last words before we get out of here?
Man, go stream that album. Tug of War. It's out
Tug
everywhere.
of War.
Follow Pluggworld on Instagram.
Yes,
it's
sir.
right in the link. The link's right in the bio. Y'all gonna fuck with that. I mean, let me know if you don't. I mean, I know you give me your honest opinion, but you know what I'm saying? I think y'all gonna rock with it. Love.
All right, there you have it. This is Adrian Nyce mouthing out, and we are out.
Mouthin.